Hello, everyone from the manga world. My name is Hector,
And my name is G.
and we're here to talk to you about the manga new releases for the month of December 2022. Like, for those of you who don't know, G and I work for Penguin Random House International Sales, and the titles that we're going to talk about today are part of the publishers' imprints that we represent into that market. We're going to talk a little bit about some of our picks, favorite picks for this month. Then we'll go into number one volumes that are coming out or one shots, and then we'll go through the rest of the list for the month. So let's get started. So first off is a pick, my one of my picks. Okay, let me take a deep breath to say this title. Backstab in a backwater dungeon. My party tried to kill me, but thanks to an infinite gacha, I got level 9999 friends and I'm out for revenge. Manga Volume 1. This is by Takafumi Omae. Goes on sale December 27th. And I don't think I need to do a lot of explaining about this because the whole title tells you sort of the story. But really, what happens in, since in Isekai, obviously, and a fantasy one, and the main character, who's a human, it's in a world where humans are have the lowest power levels, and his party, they're in the lowest levels of this dungeon and they abandon him. And as he's down there, like the title says, he gets a infinite gotcha level 999. So he gets the ability to call on 9,999 friends. In some of the description kind of calls it a harem, even though the title says friends, and they help him out. So he has all these friends that he can call on and whenever he needs help, and that's his power. And he uses it to get out of the dungeon and also get revenge on his party who abandoned him. I think this it opens it up to lots of fun, lots of comedy, and it could also be a lot of fantasy goodness in it. So I'm really looking forward to reading this. This is like right up my alley. I mean, Gino, so I love this kind of stuff. So next up.
Okay, next up is my pick. This is Magical Angel Creamy Mammy and the Spoiled Princess. This is the volume 4, and this is by Imu Mitsuki. And this is actually a spin-off to the original Magical Angel Creamy Mommy, which is actually an anime that came out in the 1980s.
Mm,
It's a shoujo anime that came out then. But this actually, the spin-off follows the antagonist, Megumi, who is like in this classical like magical girl anime slash manga. She's like the rival, spoiled brat slash idol, and the production company, like with Creamy Mommy coming onto the scene, paying less attention to Megumi. And so Megumi has this like jealousy and like this urge to want to like reclaim her spot. And so it propels her to like try to take back her spot in the limelight. And so you follow this story. It's a really interesting take because it's a different perspective, which I find very
yeah,
interesting. And
yeah.
we have a very interesting lead character here as well, where you can see through that perspective. So again, one of my pick. This is like a very classic, again, classic magical girl. So if you like that kind of thing, then this is definitely for you.
But with a sort of a different take on it, which I
With a
love.
different take. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
definitely. Awesome. And next is another of my picks is Our Torsos Align Human X Monsters Love. This is the Omnibus Volume 1 and 2 by Ryo Sumiyoshi. Now, there's not a lot of description specifically about this, but it is an anthology of stories of creatures and their interaction with humans. and there, sort of has drama around it, I guess. And he mentions there's a story about a mermaid and how mermaids bring you luck, but they also kind of drag you into the depth of the ocean. There's also stories about this extraterrestrial angel with no limbs who learns how to feel. And then the story that you see in the cover, which is this bird creature who saves a woman, and he falls in love with this woman and tries to express his love for her, but he can't communicate. They don't have the language to communicate with each other. So it's very strange. It sounds a little bit disturbing, and it's also the kind of thing that I really really love. Um, there's a lot of lately I've seen a lot of anthologies like this in manga, and I really like that how they tie. Well, this one doesn't cross over the stories, but I love how they pick the topic and they go with it, and especially such a strange and different topic. Um, so I love this one. I definitely want to read this one right away.
Mhm. Next up is my pick. This is Entangled with You, The Garden of 100 Grasses. This is by Aiki Oi. Uh, so this is for people who are looking for self-contained stories.
Hmm.
So this is great because sometimes you just want a one and done type of thing to read
Yeah.
through. And this is a
As
boy's
opposed to 50 volumes, you
yeah,
mean? Sure.
yeah, and waiting for each volume to come out.
Exactly.
This is a boys love fairy tale, and Marcel is the main character, and his sister injured herself, and so he goes into the forest trying to gather herbs for her, and he's pretty much at a loss on what to do. And while he is in the woods, he discovers this fearsome horned man, which you'll also see on the cover right there, who offers help in exchange for a promise. And you're going to have to read it to know what that promise is. So 10 years later, Marcel returns to the woods and he's actually mentally preparing himself for death. And instead, he like finds this gentle soul and friendship and possibly more. And again, you're gonna have to read to find out how that plays out. But I don't know, this fairy tale esque boys love is all you really needed to say to me.
Yeah, I know.
And
I know.
I'm already sold. So
Yeah, and then we need to talk about this cover,
oh, it's
because it's such
beautiful.
an amazing cover. It's such beautiful art. There's so much detail in it, and I was looking at it already before, when we started looking at these for the presentation, and now I'm noticing all these other details that I didn't see before. Yeah, this is just a piece of art too. I would just pick this up just for the art of the cover
Art
only.
alone, the cover alone
Yeah,
is just like
yeah.
striking in
It really
itself.
grabbed me. It really
Yeah,
grabbed me. Yeah,
yeah.
definitely. Awesome. Next is another of my picks, River's Edge by Kyoko Okazaki. And now this is another anthology. In this case, well, Kyoko Okazaki, I gotta say, it's one of those classic manga artists that has been around for a long time, and she was really big in the '80s. And she is so she tends to write a lot about women and women's experience, and she was doing it at a time where it wasn't like a big thing. So she's called the mother of Jose of women comics, and she was doing all these stories in like magazines that were, mostly or really for men's uh artists, and she was the only woman, so she's a trailblazer in that case. And this is a collection of stories, sort of, with different stories from sort of, uh I'm gonna read a little bit. At the edge of the city, not far from the sea, a field of goldenrod sways in the breeze, its veil of amber flowers obscuring secret underneath. So it's sort of, that's one of the stories, but it's sort of, it's sort of, it sounds like a very poetic, um, maybe spice of life, but also there's a little bit of deeper meaning. She's well known for not shying away from talking about drugs, for talking about, sexism and all that. So that's the kind of story you can expect in this collection. I do want to mention that in our system, it does have this big warning. This cover has been enhanced for online use and should not be printed because, it means that it probably this cover has some beautiful treatment to it that you're not going to be able to see on digital. So I think this is one of the collections. If you love not just just short stories and not just stories about female, but stories in general, and especially for somebody who wrote them back in the 80s and what was going on in the 80s, this is for you. And I think this is going to be a very beautiful package too. So I highly recommend it, and I definitely am looking forward to reading this one.
And this premise just drew me in. This is Qualia the Purple. This is a light novel, so that you keep that in mind. And this is by Hishimitsu Yu. Yu. And so this one is interesting because you have this protagonist, Yukari, who has these uncanny purple eyes that you'll see on the cover there, where through her eyes, she sees people, or people appear to her as robots. So with her abilities, she's able to assist like with the police and basically like sizing up threats. And her skill allows her to like evaluate human quirks and physical appearances and their capabilities, sort of like logging like robot parts and machines. So that's how she sees through her eyes. And her abilities sort of makes her seem weird, and people and her peers don't really like want to be friends with her. And so it's very hard for her to make friends, except she does have this one person in her corner, Gaku, who like cares deeply for her. So there's definitely like a Yuri core to this story as well. What's interesting is that she gets recruited into a secret organization where like the trouble starts occurring after that, and the story starts like picking up with that. And she's thrust into like mystery, quantum experimentation, as it gets falls into alternative universes. Um, and so you follow that story. So it's like a good sci-fi thriller, and again, it's a light novel. So definitely something that I'm interested for sure.
Yeah, it really it calls to me, and I do want to mention something I realized we should have mentioned earlier. If you see covers like this one where the text is in Japanese original language, it's because we don't have the final art yet. But obviously, what we're talking about here are English translations, so the covers are all going to be with the titles in English, just so you know. This is beautiful. I love also. I want to mention that this cover also is such a classic thing, and it's amazing how it says so much about the story, but until you know the story or sort of what the book is about, you don't realize what's in it, like having the big eyes and having something in the eyes, and but it's so simple and also says so much about it. I love covers like that where they're extremely clean, but when you really get into the stories, that oh, so this is the meaning behind everything in the cover,
Mhm.
which is great.
Yep, yep. It's so weird because she's like you don't even see what clothes she's wearing. So it's like
Yeah,
she's like
it's
devoid of personality. Like you can't
yeah,
really tell. It's almost as if she's the robot and not really you know what
exactly.
I mean? It's
And the
it's such an interesting
peacefulness of the
cover.
pose and the flowing of the hair is like you have all these pieces that also it's a little bit the story at some point when the story is like, wait, there's gotta be more to it than just, that
Mm.
her looking and that's it. But also the eyes. I love that the eyes, they have designs in it. You can't really
There's a
tell what they
reflection. I don't
are.
know if you could see it.
Yeah,
It's
the
a
reflection.
reflection of someone
Yeah,
else's face.
Yeah.
in her eyes.
But you can't really tell, but it's there. And again, you wouldn't even look at that and notice that unless you know what the story is about. But once you know the story is about, it's like, oh yeah, I see the purple eyes and I see the reflection of her looking at somebody, which is great. This is great. All right, so those are our picks, and then now we're gonna go through the number ones and one shots for this month. I'm gonna start with I Am the Evil Lord of Intergalactic Empire, manga, volume one. This is about a guy just can't manage to be the villain he wants to be in this manga adaptation of the hilarious sci-fi isekai light novels from the author of Trapped in a Dating Sim, also from Seven Seas. Then we have my cute little kitten, volume one. You see that little kitten just jumping around. A budding romance between female roommates is spurred on by the rescue of a rambunctious kitten in this Yuri Girls Love rom-com by the beloved creator of Girlfriends. And then we have My Unique Skill Makes Me OP Even at Level 1, Volume 1 light novel. And this one is no matter how hard he tries, he's stuck at level 1. But in return, he has otherworldly luck when it comes to items drops. Despite his low level, a few stats boosting item drops have his stats maxed in no time. Throw his special equipment into the mix, and he'll be the strongest, even at level 1. It's amazing how we have three from very different sort of sides of manga genre, which is awesome. So, we have something for everyone.
Mhm.
Next up.
All right, and continuing with volume ones, we have Runaway with Me, Girl. This is a dramatic, funny, and painful romance manga between two women about how sometimes you need to run away in order to find where you truly belong. This is perfect for fans of coming out Yuri, like How Do We Relationship, and masters of adult drama like Akiko Higashimura, Princess Jellyfish, and Tako Shimura, Even Though We're Adults. And then next up, we have what the only reason why I didn't have this as my pick is because I figured I should talk about something other than Sweat and Soap.
Yeah.
I can't be saying that in every video, but I will. So this is the manga box set. This collects volumes 1 to 6 of Sweat and Soap, and this is a great, great manga series. And this has very awesomely exclusive scented stickers, which I'm all about.
Yes.
So
Very
this is,
important.
yeah,
Yeah.
very important. Very briefly, it's about a romance between a prodigy, like a perfume prodigy, and a woman that works at the same company, and the romance that blossoms between them. So that's very brief of a
Yeah.
premise there. And next to that is The Girl I Like Forgot Her Glasses. This is volume one. I love the cover. I love her squinty
Yes.
face. So it's a charming romantic comedy about a boy who only has eyes for a girl who always forgets her glasses. And then this next one is really cool. This is Yorha, Pearl Harbor Descent Record, Niar Automata Story. This is the volume one. Invaders from another world attack without warning, unleashing weapons known as machine life forms. Mankind is driven from Earth and takes refuge on the moon. In this war, a new infantry unit of female androids, Yorha, is deployed to recapture Earth for mankind.
Awesome. And now we continue with the rest of the list, and we'll just go through really, really quick with the titles. And we start with 2.5 Dimensional Seduction Volume 4. Next, we have Seventh Time Loop. The villainess enjoys a career-free life married to her worst enemy, manga, Volume 2. Then we have the light novel, Volume 2 of that same title. And then we have A Galaxy Next Door, number 4. Accomplishments of the Duke's Daughter, light novel, Volume 7. And we still have more omnibus from Attack on Titan. So this is omnibus 8 of Attack on Titans, which includes volumes 22 to 24. Beauty and the Beast of Paradise Lost, number 5, which is one of our biggest sellers this year. Definitely check it out if you haven't yet. We continue with Berserk of Gluttony, manga, volume 7. Blue Lock number 4, the new sort of anime big title for the season. So also check that one out.
It's also really
And
good. I binged it, or I try to binge as much as I can over the
no
weekend. So
spoilers. I haven't
no, yeah,
haven't
no
seen it yet.
spoilers for me.
Please. And then next is Candy and Cigarettes Volume 2. I read the number 1 for this one. It's awesome. I highly recommend it. And we continue with the next page.
Yeah, continuing on, we have Dance and the Vampire Bund, Age of the Scarlet Order, Volume 7, Die Wargilder, Volume 3, Eden Zero, Volume 20, Failure Frame, I Become the Strongest and Annihilated Everything with Low-Level Spells, Manga, Volume 5, Fire Force, Volume 30, Game Between the Suits, Volume 2, Go-Go Loser Ranger, Volume 2, High Score Girl, Volume 10, How a Realist Hero Rebuilt the Kingdom. This is the light novel, Volume 15. I was reincarnated as the seventh prince so I can take my time perfecting my magical ability, Volume 3.
Yeah, next time I'm doing the presentation because there was a lot of my favorites on that one, and you got to talk about. Well, anyway, we can talk about that later. Then we continue with Kanki Shoujo Volume 7, then Kimono Jihen Volume 3, also another awesome one, which I love. Killing Stalking Deluxe Edition Volume 2, Lazy Dungeon Master Manga Volume 2. I talked about the number 1, I think, last time, and we posted about it on social media. It is hilarious. I also recommend it. Lovesick LA 7. Then we go to Mushoku Tensei Roxy Gets Serious Volume 8. Then my Isekai Life number 4, Orient 12. And we continue with Other Side Picnic number 3, Manga, and Pulse Volume 2.
All right, continuing on, we have Reborn as a Barrier Master. This is the manga, Volume 3. Reincarnated as a Sword, light novel, Volume 11. Rent a Girlfriend, Volume 16. Sayonara Football, Volume 14. Shangri-La Frontier, Volume 3. She professed herself Pupil of the Wise Man. This is the light novel, Volume 5. We also have the manga, Volume 7. Shikimori's Not Just a Cutie, Volume 11. I like how she has the peace sign as if it's like volume, like the ones in 11. I don't know if that was
Oh,
done on
one and
purpose,
one,
but
maybe, yeah.
yeah. Slow Life in Another World, I Wish, manga, Volume 4. Something's Wrong with Us, Volume 12.
And we continue with Sorry for My Familiar, Volume 10. Then we have Super Exoros or Heroes, Volume 9. Survival in Another World with My Mistress, Manga, Volume 3. The Apothecary Diaries, 7, Manga. The Case Files of Julia Richard, Light Novel, Volume 2. And we also have the manga for that, Volume 4. Then we have the Hidden Dungeon Only I Can Enter manga, Volume 7. Continue with the Kingdoms of Ruin, Volume 5. Then we have the Masterful Cat is Depressed, again today, Volume 5. And the box set for the Quintessential Quintuplets, Part 2 manga.
The Seven Deadly Sins Omnibus 7. This includes volumes 19 to 21. The Summer You Were There, Volume 2. Topu GP, Volume 10. Trapped in a dating sim. The world of ultimate games is tough for mobs. Light novel, Volume 7. Uzaki-chan Wants to Hang Out, Volume 8. Vampire Dormitory, Volume 8, Vinland Saga Volume 17, and Vivi Prototype Light Novel Volume 2.
And we finish up with Welcome Back, Alice 4. And What Did You Eat Yesterday, 19. Whisper Me a Love Song, 6. And Wonder Cat Q-chan, Volume 7. And Yuna and the Haunted Hot Springs, Volume 22. And that's it for this video. Thank you for watching until the end. We love to do these, so feel free to send us some comments. And if you have any questions about any of our titles, manga or not, feel free to reach out to us or to your sales rep. We we hope to see you very soon. Thank you.
Hey, everyone.